Hello, I am Arun from Support Host. Welcome back to our channel. Today I am going to discuss about how to install MySQL on Windows 11. MySQL is a widely used relational database management system. MySQL is free and open source software under the terms of the GNU General Public License and is also available under a variety of proprietary licenses for commercial customers like MySQL Standard Edition or MySQL Enterprise Edition, etc. The free version of MySQL is called MySQL Community Server. Some of the benefits of MySQL are 1. High data security and support for transactional processing. Second, MySQL offers unmatched scalability. Third, MySQL features a distinct storage engine framework that facilitates system administrators to configure the MySQL database server for a flawless performance. So, in this video, we are discussing how to install the MySQL Community Server on Windows 11. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when we post new videos. Alright, let's get started. We are dividing the entire video into 3 sections. Each sections are 1. Install of MySQL on Windows 11. Second, basic usage of MySQL. Third, uninstallation of MySQL. So in that, first discuss the installation procedure. For that, first thing is go to the MySQL website, which is https://www.mysql.com on our web browser. From there, click Downloads tab. After that, move down and click on MySQL Community Downloads option. Now click on MySQL Community Server option. After that, select operating system as Microsoft Windows from the drop down menu. Now under recommended download section, click on Go to Downloads page next to the MySQL installer MSI. Now click the download button next to Windows x86 32-bit MSI installer, which is currently named as MySQL Installer Community 8.0.30.0.MSI. After that, click on No thanks, just start my download option. The download will start automatically, so wait until the download got completed. Now, after the download got completed, go to the downloads folder section and double click the MySQL MSI installer file to start the MySQL installation. We will be redirected to the MySQL installer welcome page. It will take a few minutes for Windows to configure the installer. So wait patiently while it does that. Now from the MySQL installer window, you will need to select a setup type to install. In that, choose Full by clicking the radio button next to Full. As the name suggests, this type includes all of the MySQL products along with the samples, examples and documentation of the tools. Then click on the next button present at the bottom right corner of the Windows to proceed. Now we are in the check requirement page. Here each MySQL product shows its prerequisite software needed. In that, the requirement marked as manual cannot be resolved automatically by MySQL installer itself. So here in our screen we can see we need to install Microsoft Visual Studio 2015, 2017 or 2019 in the server, and also need to install Python 64-bit 3.7, 3.8, 3.9 or 3.10. So let's see how these two packages can be installed prior to proceed with the install of MySQL further in the server. So in order to do that, first go to the browser and visit URL https://my.visualstudio.com. Sign into the URL using our Hotmail account. Here I already signed into my Hotmail account. Once signed in, click on Downloads tab and search for Visual Studio 2019 Community, which is a free version available. Once the website loaded, on the download button next to Visual Studio Community 2019. The download will start automatically, so wait until the download got completed. Once it got downloaded, double click on the .exe file of Visual Studio Community Edition to run the installer on your system. After that, a UAC, that is user account control window pane will appear. If you are not logged in with an admin account, enter the credentials for one. Otherwise, click on the Yes button to commence the installation. Then from the Visual Installer window, click on Continue button. Wait until the install will load it in the server. Now from the Visual Studio 2019 Community Edition install window, select the required workload. I have chosen ASP.NET and Web Development. In the next tabs like individual components, language packs and installation location, there will be default options got selected automatically. So we don't have to do anything unless we are not fine with default selection. By default we are okay with this selection. Now click on the install button to begin the installation of Visual Studio 2019. The install will now download each component from the internet and start the installation. This will take a while depending on your internet speed. So let's wait until the install got completed. Once the installation is complete, you will be presented with the installation succeeded message along with the option to register. If you are installing Visual Studio for the first time, you will be asked to sign in. So at this moment we click the option as not now, maybe later. Choose the default color scheme and click Start Visual Studio option. At first time we will see the message as we are preparing, and after that we will see the Visual Studio terminal. Close this and that completes the Visual Studio install. Now that we have installed Microsoft Visual Studio 2015, 17 or 19 in the server. At this time, if we go to the MySQL check requirement install page and click check button next to Microsoft Visual Studio 2015, 17 or 19, now we will see the status as completed. Now let's see how we can install the other requirement Python in the server. For that, first visit the URL https www.python.org/downloads. Click the download button next to the latest version available for Windows, which is Python 3.10 at this moment. The download will start automatically, so wait until the download got completed. Once it got downloaded, double click on the exe file of Python. The Python install page will appear. From that, choose the option Add Python 3.10 to the path. After that, click Install Now option. The install will start automatically. Wait until it got completed. Normally, it will take few minutes to get it completed. Once we got the message as the install is successful, click the Close button. This will complete the Python install in the server. At this time, if we go to the MySQL and check requirement install page and click check button next to Python, now we will see the status as completed. Now click the next button from the MySQL installer and we will be in the installer page. From that, click execute button to start the installation of all mentioned tools. Normally it will take some time to get it completed. So let's wait until it got completed. Once all the tools are successfully installed, click on the next button to proceed. Now we are in the product configuration page. Click next to start the MySQL configuration. Now we are in the type and networking section. Now from the config type section, choose server computer. This is the best type when we are running a few other server applications along with MySQL. The memory usage will be moderate at this stage. We can also configure the TCP IP ports according to your preference to make the connection with SQL, but we are fine with the default settings. Click on the next button to proceed. On the authentication method screen, choose the use strong password encryption for authentication option if you are creating a new server from scratch. Click on the next button to proceed. After that, on the account and roles screen, you will need to create a password for the root account by entering your preferred password in the respective field. So let's give our preferred MySQL root password and click next to proceed further. Then on the Windows service screen, default option will be already selected to run the SQL server as a Windows service, which is suitable for most of the scenarios. We can also name this particular server instance by entering an appropriate name in the text box present right next to the Windows service name. To start the SQL server at system startup, click on the checkbox preceding the Start the MySQL server at system startup. Then click on the next button to proceed. On the next screen, click on the execute button to apply the configuration settings. Once the configuration of MySQL got completed, click on the finish button to continue. On the next product configuration screen, click on the next button to proceed. Now we will be prompted for a router configuration that can bootstrap an already installed MySQL router, which is installed in developer default and full setup type. Since we are not doing anything like that, click on Finish button. On the next screen, click on the Next button to proceed. Then on the Connect to Server screen, enter the password in the text box following the password field you set at the time of server configuration and click on the Check button to check the connection. Once the connection to the server succeeds, click on the Next button to proceed. Then on the Apply Configuration screen, click on the Execute button. Normally it will take some time, so wait until it got completed. After the configuration has been applied, click on the Finish button to proceed. After that, on the product configuration screen, click on the Next button to continue. The installation of MySQL is now complete. You can click on the hyperlinks present on the screen to refer to the MySQL documentation and examples on MySQL shell. Otherwise, click on the Finish button to close the window. Now we can start using MySQL using MySQL Workbench or MySQL command line client installed in the server itself. At this point, MySQL is installed on our Windows 11. Now let's move to the next section. The second section is basic usage of MySQL on Windows 11. So in this section, first see how to access the MySQL command line client. For that, click on my Windows Start menu icon. Now click on the MySQL command line client to access the MySQL from recently added section. We will be asked to provide the MySQL root password. After providing the MySQL root password, we will see the MySQL interface, which will just look like a Windows CMD. Here in this interface, we can run the MySQL SQL query. For example, to create a MySQL database named testwindb, issue SQL query like create database testwindb. So let's try to execute the command and wait until it got completed. Also, the SQL query like create user db user at localhost identified by in single quotes password will create a database user named db user. Here you can also replace the password field with your own desired login password. So let's try to execute it in the terminal and wait until it got completed. Now, to grant all the privileges for the created user to the database we created, we need to run the SQL query like grant all privileges on testwindb.star to db user at localhost identified by in single quotes password. Additionally, we can check the installed MySQL version from the SQL interface by running the SQL query like select version. So let's try to execute it in the terminal and wait until it got completed. These are few basic commands which we can use with MySQL for our database usage. Now in order to start and stop the MySQL service, we can easily done that from the Windows Service Manager. So first open the Windows Run and type services.msc, which will open Windows Service Manager. From there, locate the service named MySQL 80 and use the stop restart options to manage our MySQL install service. Okay, this completes the basic usage of MySQL section. Now let's move to the next section. The next section is Uninstall of MySQL. In this section, let's see how we can uninstall a MySQL package from the Windows 11. For that, from the Windows Downloads section, double click the MySQL installer again. The MySQL install window will appear again. From that, click the remove button for starting the uninstall procedure. In the select product remove page, select all products related to MySQL and click next. Choose remove the data directory option from the next page and click next. Click execute to start the uninstall process. Normally it's going to take some time to get it completed. So let's wait until it got completed. Once the uninstall got completed, we will get a message as all community MySQL products has been removed. Now tick the uninstall MySQL installer option 2. Click finish button and this completes the MySQL uninstall from Windows 11 section. So in this video guide we discussed how to install MySQL on Windows 11. We also explained how to use MySQL with the examples. Finally, we also explained how to uninstall the MySQL from our Windows 11. I hope this video is informative. Thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video and also leave your thoughts at the comment box. See you soon on next video.